comrade. I felt bad for not believing the official
Sorry,
Communist
comrade,
Party of
not
China
today.
government.
And the thing I keep saying about everyone getting it and just developing an immunity to it so it's not as bad the next time around, I'm finding you convince me I'm crazy sometimes, but every time I look into it, that becomes the truth. And when I talk to people who aren't you, they also have that same impression. So I'm still stuck there.
When I talk to people who aren't you.
Yeah.
No, so
There are a lot of flat earthers out there.
There are a lot of
There's
people who aren't
people
Kyle.
who think I'm not sure if the three of you are aware of this. There's a whole movement of people. They don't think birds are real.
Well, they're not.
I think the birds are being charged
by
right
the
now.
power lines. That's why they sit there.
No. Everybody is in quarantine, so they can charge the birds.
That's what it is.
Not heard that one?
I have literally seen illustrations. I have seen illustrations of like what the inside of a bird supposedly looks like, and it's all mechanical, like the fucking Terminator.
Yeah.
What is the name of this website?
Obviously,
someone who's
birds
done
are a modern invention. You don't see any old pictures of birds like from Egypt.
That's where I'm. Whenever something comes up, I don't dismiss things out of hand. I don't say, "Ha, bullshit." I'm too smart to even look into that. No, I'll look into even the craziest things. But all I had to do was do what you just did, Woody. I went, man, I'm pretty sure they talk about birds in the Bible and like all sorts of ancient text.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Da Vinci was.
Okay.
There's plenty of illustrations. I mean, look at the Egyptian hieroglyphics. You know, with the birds and on them and shit. You know, like, and then
the
I
bones
thought,
from the dinosaurs.
maybe they've been here the whole time, watching, waiting.
Mm.
And then I realized that that's absurd because I've shot many birds in real life and torn them apart with my hands and eaten them, and there were no metal bits in there.
Riddle me this: is the birds aren't real movement Dinosaur Denial?
I'm familiar with the Dinosaur Denial movement as well.
Are they the same people though? Because
No.
dinosaurs were birds, is my understanding from like
You would have to believe
Discovery Channel show.
These are not the type of people who believe in evolution. So you're going down 2 or 3 paths that they're just not going to go with. They believe that fossils are a hoax because the first dinosaur wasn't discovered until, and I'm just making a year up here, but like it was like 250 years ago when the first dinosaur was ever discovered, the first fossils, and then all of a sudden they're finding them everywhere. And they're like, You're telling me we didn't find one for all of human history until like Jimmy Popcorn did in 1797, and then he opened up a circus showing them off? Bullshit. The resin casts.
As if like before that, you know, when people stumbled upon it, they're like, man, this must have been one hell of a bear.
I think that's what you're looking at in ancient depictions of dragons. Is people discovered dinosaur fossils and they were like, holy fucking shit, this must have been a dragon.
Just putting the pieces together. You know, so I'll have to look more into the birds aren't real. I do like this t-shirt. I might buy it of like the old propaganda style art, but instead of like some like masked, you know, Illuminati puppeteering the media and the government, it's just a bird.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be a whole birdsaren'treal.com website if birds were real.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Indisputable.
Now that is flawless logic.
What's a conspiracy theory that you actually believe? And you can't just say like the ones that have been literally proven to be like, holy shit, we really did do that Gulf of Tonkin thing. Holy crap, we really did test STDs on the Tuskegee in the Tuskegee experiments on African Americans. Like you can't come up with one of the ones that is like on Wikipedia factual. The U.S. government has admitted to already. What's one that you believe in that's still shadowy?
Man, that's tough because
lizard people.
No,
I'm joking. Okay.
What is one? So I always I hit the same well on this. I want to come up with a different one for the show, but I always hit the plane in Pennsylvania where the guy said, let's roll and went down. And I think it was shot down.
Yeah. I recently watched a lot of stuff about that and how like the coroner showed up to like identify, like label the bodies or whatever, looked around for 10 minutes and was just like, I'm going home. And they're like, why? It's like, there's nothing out there. It looks like there's just a hole in the ground. There's no wreckage. Like there's just, I'm more of the thought process. Here was the conspiracy theory that was being put forward in all the material that I recently looked into in my spare time, is that it didn't even go down. They were saying that they just shot a missile into the ground and scattered a little rubbish around. And then they landed the plane somewhere and smoked all the people that were on the plane, killed them.
Jesus, that's a lot more complicated than just shooting it down.
See, but I saw the engine and stuff. Like when I did that conspiracy debunking PowerPoint thing,
You sure you found the engine?
There was, I remember the photo of the engine, and I remember how it hit the dirt, and one of my points was how scattered the plane was, how parts of it were here. And
I could have
parts of
been
it were
lied
there.
to last week.
Speaking of
Well,
that bit we did a
certainly.
while back, Woody, we need to do that again, like the structured conspiracy thing. Let's do that next week. That'd be fun.
I'm just doing the same one again.
Just doing the same one. But I remember how fucking funny it was that Woody had a PowerPoint and like you would make a point and then authoritatively be like, next slide. And next slide.
I wanted you to follow along.
That was really
It's like that
funny.
scene in JFK. He's back
that's a good
and to
one.
the left, back and to the left.
I don't know what happened with the JFK thing, but I do believe it was more complicated than just Oswald doing that.
Yeah, I think
Like,
they
there were
conspired to
more
fucking kill the
people
guy.
in play. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think-
who did it. But
Yeah, I don't know who did it either, but I think there's definitely a conspiracy at play there. You know, I think
Anytime there's I'm sorry, I cut you off. Anytime there's a president, he's going to have a lot of people who are against him. You know, then there's of course the other political side, and in his case, there was like mafia and the Cuba and the Cubans and a bunch of, you know, you could just say Trump right now. Does anyone want to kill Trump? Oh well, surely lots of people do. You know, he's in a couple of trade wars. There's motivation there. He's unpopular with the blue team. There's motivation there. You know, you could look all over and find people who haven't acted, as far as I know. But good.
Sure. Oh shit! I just forgot my conspiracy theory. The thing that I think that there have been previous civilizations that were advanced that got wiped out in the past.
Well, really?
how advanced are you talking about here?
Like they got to the stage of like large stone structures and organized society, like Egyptian style level organized
how
government.
Were they wiped out? An epidemic.
Well, that book that that I've read from the Graham Cochran guy, he suggests that it was the a comet strike that happened. I want to say 14,000 years ago.
I was afraid you were about to say pandemic.
No, it was it triggered this geologically proven period of global cooling called the Younger Dryas, where like a lot of the major animals in the world went extinct, and he thinks that was the cataclysm that like swept the earth clean of like whatever civilizations existed.
Undesirables.
It's possible.
Yeah, so that's the one that I think is. I've just watched.
Why are there
Okay,
no?
okay.
Okay.
I it might not be a conspiracy, but it's more of like a like a astrology conspiracy, where there is this this barrier civilizations will reach, and then they'll just go extinct.
The great filter, right?
The great filter, right? Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think that's
Dude, that's really
I've
interesting.
never heard of that.
Oh no, I wish I could.
No.
It's incredibly fascinating. If someone who understood
Great
it more
filter.
completely explained it to you, would be cool. But Kyle, you want to take a shot at it? It sounds like you do.
I believe that the core part of it is there's this question, and it is, why are we not, with our radio telescopes and our listening devices, able to detect intelligent life that's at least able to send out a radio signal or a laser signal of some kind? And so the great filter is the answer to that. It's all of these filters that not just a society but a life form has to evolve through to get to that point. And war and plague, or all of the four horsemen are part of that filter. And it's really interesting theory. Like I like to go down those YouTube.
The question
rabbit holes.
is that filter that so pretty much you're going into the right direction. The one with radio waves is even more complicated because us as a civilization might only use radio waves for a few hundred years or 1,000 years, which in the scale of the universe is like nothing, right? So it'll just see it for 1,000 years and then you won't see it. But pretty much the question is, why are we still alone in the universe, right? I feel like this is like an educational video now.
Even our planet has gotten to the point where we send satellites out past Pluto, outside our solar system. You would think that, so there's one possibility is that we're first, that we're the most advanced society to have ever existed. But as a numbers game, that seems improbable, right? That we're literally the most advanced society to have ever existed in the universe. That seems improbable. There's so many planets.
You may have touched on it. To have ever existed, no. to still exist, yes.
Right. So,
Right,
so
well,
wait,
well,
wait, wait.
They're
Because-
different questions.
Well,
you
if
know?
right, so if what I said, we are the most to have ever existed, then there isn't a great filter. We're first, but that seems unlikely. So
No, no, no,
what-
no, 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 no.
Why don't I
That's
get-
not. That's incorrect. So the thing about the great
Set us
filter,
straight.
you asked for someone to be able to explain it, guys. I'm trying to explain it here. Okay. So the great filter is the filter that, if a civilization gets to a point, they go extinct, and this could be. There's tons of different theories what it could be. It could be, for example, star goes supernova, star blows up, whatever star, we cannot leave our solar system in time. That's a possibility. Another possibility is that we'll never be able to leave our Milky Way galaxy. But some other stuff that's even more interesting is that it could be that humans won't be interested anymore in 1,000 years to try and explore. For example, if VR and AR and all those things, let's say we create the Matrix and we can live inside of our simulation. Why would we still want to explore if you can explore the entire universe within, right? Anyways.
Yeah, I
Also
was
be
headed
Mars,
to
it
that
could be
before I was cut
Okay,
off.
okay, wait,
Yeah.
wait.
No, so there is a
wait.
possibility
No.
that. Oh my gosh! Stop it! You took the floor from me, told me I was wrong, and then I wasn't. So there is a possibility that there is no filter and that we're first, but that's improbable, right? So then we're head to where Queb was saying that there is a filter. And what is that filter? Is that filter that you lose interest? It could be that filter is there's an aggressive society out there, and anytime they find them, they eliminate them. So it seems like there's none. And once we do make contact with someone, it's the end for us. Go on.
It's also possible that we've already passed the filter, right? So if you look back at history, the amount of mass extinctions, we've survived, the amount of this, the whole coronavirus situation could have wiped everything out, right? It didn't, and it probably won't, but it could have been it. So it's like, did we pass it already, or are we going towards it, or are there multiple filters?
There's definitely multiple filters,
Who
right?
knows?
There's the zoo hypothesis, right? The galactic zoo hypothesis, and
What
that
is this?
These
that
are
is-
interesting conspiracy theories.
Wait, that
Yes.
we're a part of a zoo where they took
Yeah.
that
a
there
bunch
are
of-
intelligent alien life forms out there, and they just put up some sort of subspaced road sign out there that said "humans ahead, don't contact," and they're just allowing us to evolve like fucking microbes in a petri dish, and they're not going to
Exactly.
interfere.
And-
they're just watching.
It's like that
It's like
South Park
we
where
are-
they get canceled, and the producers of the show, the Glorksians or whatever, are like, "Oh no, we put everything on Earth to see how it would go. You think that's how the entire universe works? No, there's a planet of deer, a planet of Asians, a planet of birds."
The planet of Asians.
That's what the line was.
Everybody's just crashing into each other all day.
There's
And a whole
there's a
planet
few
of
ways
nothing but
to look at
deer.
it. There's a few ways to look at it. So you can say, all right, well, this is a tribe in the Amazon, and we will not lay contact with them. We just let them live and this and that. Sometimes they see a plane fly over, and they're like, oh, what's that? And that's the equivalent of us humans seeing UFOs, right?
Mhm.
That's one possibility. The other one is that these aliens are so much smarter than humans that they'll look at us and go, what's the point of us communicating with an ant? Right?
Yeah.
What's the point? They won't ever understand us.
I hate that
so
one,
these,
though.
I
I don't buy into that one because
Go
I
on.
think that because there are tons of humans who go and study ants and spend their whole fucking life staring at ants and learning about ants. And every time I see a Reddit GIF of a line of ants walking next to a line of termites, and all the ants are bucked up, don't fuck with the ant line, and all the termites are bucked up, don't you fuck with the termite line. I'm just fascinating. They're in a standoff while the workers carry the food and do their fucking colony shit, and then the workers are at the corner don't you fuck with our shit, don't you fuck with our shit, termite. I'm fascinated by that. So I think that no matter how advanced they are and how inferior we are technologically, evolutionary
But-
speaking,
Kyle
it's
won
still
me over.
fascinating.
I was
I would-
anti-Kyle at the start of
No,
that.
no.
He turned me around. I want to see some ant termite fights now.
It's
I'd be
cool as
down.
shit.
I'm
Yeah.
going to
Find that
defend
GIF.
this. I need to defend this. So now the question is, are ants able to recognize humans observing them? And I don't think so. They might see, hey, there's something there, but they might not understand what that is. And
Yeah,
the
they don't know
same
they're
thing
part
could
of like
be-
a David Attenborough special. They're just-
When you break out the
Exactly.
magnifying glass and torture them, they start to get the message.
yeah, but then they just do that cool ant thing and just reevaluate the line and keep going. You know? Yeah, ants are tight. Yeah, man, Kyle, that is a really good comparison. I thought
I'd be
the same thing.
we're fascinated by those things. Like how many nature documentaries are there? When I see the one about bugs, I'm like, ooh, I like these. Like I can only watch the penguins do their shit so many times, but these ants, I don't know anything. Oh, a leaf cutter ant. What? They don't even eat the leaves. They just feed them. What? They're not eating the leaves. They're taking the leaf cuttings, putting them down in the colony, and growing some sort of mold
Like a
on them or
fungus on
something.
it,
Yeah, fungus on them, and then they eat the fungus. These are farmer ants, not leaf-eating ants. I had no idea, and it's
There's a
fascinating.
lot of interesting stuff. If I see two snails fucking, which I don't think they even fuck. I think one lays eggs and
Man,
the other
it's
comes
so
around.
hot.
I'm not sure. I'm like, oh, that's how they do it? I'm going to check this out. If I see two wildebeests making babies, if I saw two chickens, well, they don't fuck, but if I saw two chickens hypothetically having sex, then that would be a thing, or dolphins or whatever. Why wouldn't they check out our wars, our reproduction? Those things are inherently interesting.
But they might be
they are.
checking it
Yeah.
out.
One of the
Right,
things
yeah.
that's for sure though is like, so one of the problems with them even hiding themselves from us is there I don't remember what the scale is called, but there's this scale of like civilization levels.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, this is a tier 1 civilization.
Kardashev
Is it
skill.
based on how much sun energy they harness?
It's
That's
based-
where
yes.
we're ending up. It's a technological advancement scale, and up at the top is what we believe will eventually happen, and that is when they're harnessing the complete power of a star with a Dyson sphere, and the whole thing is like, we're not
No, that's-
seeing
that's-
any
that's not
Dyson
the-
spheres.
So it's called the Kardashev scale. A type 1 civilization, also called a planetary civilization, can use and store all of the energy available on its planet. A type 2, called a stellar civilization, can use and control energy at the scale of its stellar system. And a type 3 civilization, also called a galactic civilization, can control energy at the scale of its entire host galaxy.
yeah. So the
So
idea is
we're
that
like level 0 then.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
level 0 there.
Point
the
something.
idea-
We've got solar panels.
0.7.
Dude, that's so dumb. That the guy who made that scale, I closed the window up at Kadushev or whatever. You could have
Kardashev.
bullshitted a
Kardashev.
couple levels below where we already achieved,
Right,
so
somewhere
that we
invent
felt a
fire.
little better about it. You know,
Yeah.
like we don't want to come in on level
Discover.
0. Like we've done shit. We should
No,
be
no,
at
no,
least
we're
Randy
level
Marsh
2 or
measuring his
5.
We're at 0.7, guys. We're
The
almost there.
adjusted
0.7.
penis size is
Oh, the yaw.
Our
the yaw of
adjusted-
the shaft.
our adjusted Kardashev scale is a 4.7. 4.7.
We're a level 4.7
So-
civilization.
Webb, did
So
you
if you
say
know
we're
what a Dyson
0.7? Do you
sphere
know
is-
something that, or did we
We're
just
at
make it a joke?
0.7.
Are we really?
0.8. Yeah.
Okay.
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 So yeah, this scientist, I don't know his first name. I know his last name's Dyson. He came up with he theorized that
The
you
vacuum
could
guy?
completely enclose a
Encapsulate.
star in a mechanism that would take 100% of its light energy, or there are lesser ways to do it. You could just surround it with satellites, like thousands and thousands, or maybe start out with 1 and then 2 and then 3. But you'd surround the sun at close range with these satellites that are beaming the energy back to your planet. And the idea is that we're like, well, eventually that just makes sense that you would need that kind of power source, and that would be the easiest way to do it. We should be able to see those though, because we can detect gravity by the way it bends light with our radio telescopes, right?
Yeah.
So
we-
it should be almost like, in the same way we detect black holes, we should be able to detect Dyson spheres.
It would be
no,
tough,
no,
though.
No.
Go ahead.
No. You're going into the right direction, but unless I'm wrong, we can detect the drop in light intensity. So when we look at a star, and all of a sudden, the light intensity drops because, for example, a planet goes in front of it, then we know, okay, there has a planet, it has another planet, there's another planet. But if all of a sudden a star starts dimming halfway, and it starts dimming more and then more and more and more, then we know, okay, hey, there is a possibility that there's a civilization over there which has created a Dyson sphere.
But that's just if we are literally viewing, and of course we're looking back in time because of the speed of light, but that's just in case we're looking at a partial Dyson sphere or mid-construction of a full Dyson sphere. I'm describing like a scenario in which the Dyson sphere has been there for millennia, right?
But then the gravitational waves will just pass through. The gravity just doesn't care there's a Dyson sphere there.
Everything with mass has gravity. So the Dyson
so
sphere
it would have
itself
an
would
enormous amount of
gravity.
mass. Not only the star's mass, but the Dyson sphere would even add to that, and it would bend the light of the stars behind it, and we could detect that. And it would also there would also be a gravitational area out there that has planets rotating it, which would be funny for them to. It would be what are they rotating?
So what you're saying is like it would be like a black hole, but it wouldn't be as strong as a black hole. It would be like in between, just a little bit stronger than a star.
It would
Sure.
be
Is this guy Dyson a scientist, or was he just like?
He's the vacuum guy.
He's like a vacuum guy.
He's the vacuum guy.
Suck it out. Have you ever experienced a $550 vacuum cleaner? Now you can say you have. It's like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and buy a fucking Hoover, bitch.
Dirt Devil. Yeah, that stuff's really fascinating to me. I love watching those documentaries about space, and I like going down the YouTube rabbit hole. I find that's even more enjoyable because they're not selling you anything. There's no commercial breaks. It's just often a professor or a physicist of some kind, and he's really breaking things down on a marker board.